This story happened a month ago during a trip to nature, where we went with 3 families and children. We've been friends since college, and although most of us are about the same age, there are 2 wives who are younger than their husbands. My name is Amanda, and I was traveling with my husband Robert and our 8-year-old twins. One couple took a 7-year-old daughter with them, and the other took 2 sons, aged 7 and 8. Overall, our group suited each other perfectly. I was not indifferent to the one I had feelings for since I was a student. However, when we met again, he was happily married, and I had to come to terms with this reality. Later on, I met my husband, and over time, my earlier desires began to fade. New emotions emerged, and as family life settled into a routine, those memories only surfaced during trips that reminded me of the past. It was during these outings with our children that I found moments to connect with him more intimately, always mindful to keep things subtle in public to avoid raising my husband's suspicions. By then, the spark between my husband and me had diminished after many years of domestic challenges. He had let himself go, a stark contrast to the man I had fallen for a decade ago, who was always well-groomed and stylish. I recognize that part of this change is due to the demands of his job and the influence of his wife. He holds a prominent position in a local company and enjoys a level of success that my husband has yet to achieve. Despite this, I felt a strong attraction to him. The camping site was expansive, and I seized every opportunity to flirt or chat with him, always trying to be discreet. This vacation turned out to be a turning point for me. Upon our arrival, we set up our tents, a tradition for any getaway, and began grilling meat while enjoying some drinks. The children played nearby, bundled in blankets to keep from distracting one another. In the warm glow of the campfire and feeling slightly tipsy, my college friend's husband appeared even more attractive than usual, especially after a few drinks as we all started to drift off. My husband suggested it was time for bed, but I opted to stay by the fire a while longer. He agreed and helped our friends settle the kids before heading to our tent. With the campfire area now quiet, my attraction grew stronger. I noticed Derek seemed to feel the same and was in no rush to leave. He briefly walked his wife to their tent, as she had indulged a bit more than usual that night. Later, when the others had succumbed to the fatigue of travel and drinks, we found ourselves alone. I invited him to sit beside me on the blanket, and he happily accepted. He started to shower me with compliments, revealing that I'd been the subject of his dreams for as long as he could remember and that I was far more beautiful than his wife. I was already captivated and eager to believe his words, especially since I had always found him appealing. I let myself be swept away by the moment. It felt like a scene straight out of a romance, with the forest surrounding us and the campfire flickering nearby. That is, until we had an unexpected audience. John, who had been peacefully resting in his tent with his wife, emerged to take care of some business. As he approached the campfire, he caught sight of us, smirked, and went on with his business without saying a word. We didn't address him at all. Knowing John was a reliable person, we were certain he wouldn't share what he saw. So we decided to seize the moment and carried on. The pleasure was short-lived when Mia got out of the tent, probably awakened by my husband, and went out into the fresh air. Being impulsive, Mia didn't hold back. Fortunately, she had the good sense not to scream or disturb our sleeping children, which we appreciated. In an instant, she burst into the tent, muttering accusations of betrayal to my husband. He jumped to his feet, still sleepy and annoyed that he had been woken up, and clearly did not understand the seriousness of the situation. Meanwhile, Derek and I have regained our composure. After making sure that my husband understood everything, Mia continued her tirade. She called for Gloria, trying to get her out of the tent, but her efforts were in vain. Gloria was too drunk to react coherently to attempts to wake her up. Maybe it's for the best. We will be able to explain everything more clearly to her when she wakes up and sobers up. Realizing that Mia was telling the truth, my husband wasted no time and attacked Derek, hitting him hard in the face. Then he grabbed me by the hair and dragged me into the tent. None of us who were to blame tried to justify our behavior. It became quite obvious that we could no longer live the way we had lived. I calmly asked him not to raise his voice so as not to wake the children, However, instead of shouting, he sat down next to me, buried his head in his hands, and started talking. There were insults and regrets about wasted years in his words. I turned out to be indifferent to all this. Then it dawned on me that I had brought him to this state. I realized that I should have acted much earlier, when Derek and his future wife had just started their relationship. It would be wiser to let go of a friend than to sacrifice your own happiness. And now, I was not only without her, but also without my man, who obviously would not be with me after all that had happened. There were so many mistakes in this trial. The next evening, the four of us gathered for a serious conversation, making sure that there were no unnecessary outsiders. Mia tried to break into the conversation with her unsolicited advice, but we quickly pushed her aside so as not to interfere. At the same time, Derek's wife remained calm and did not rush at me. I've always recognized my friend's strength. She's a resilient woman. The situation was completely chaotic, and we all couldn't find the words. Everyone just exchanged empty glances, full of resentment and silence, without raising the topic of divorce. Later, we came to the decision to divorce, giving each of us the opportunity to go our own way. After the events that happened, pretending to be an ordinary family was already unthinkable for each of us. In the interests of the children, we have decided to maintain visibility, regardless of our personal relationships. Our love for children is immeasurable. I understand that neither my husband nor my girlfriend will ever forgive me. But now that I have the opportunity to continue the relationship I've always dreamed of, I don't want them to pass me by. After returning, my husband and I began to exist as neighbors, and I tried to keep in touch with Derek. One day I set up a date with him, and during that time he opened up to me, admitting that he could no longer maintain the facade. He confessed that he had cheated on his wife, and this was not the first time. He repeated this scheme, which attracted me too. My heart was completely broken. In an instant, I lost everything that mattered to me. There were only the children left, and now the man I loved despised me for betraying him. It was only then that I began to understand the depth of the pain I had caused him. He's been my rock and support all these years, and I've given up everything for a fleeting fling. When I returned home that day, I tearfully begged my husband to forgive me for what I had done. I promised to do everything in my power to restore our relationship and admitted my grave mistake. In response, he sincerely told me that he still loves me, but he doubts that he will be able to forgive my act. I realized how devastating my betrayal was towards someone so close and dear to me. Thanks to my stupidity and selfishness, I lost everything. My children did not want to live with me. My friends looked at me with contempt, and my husband hated me. I've lost absolutely everything. A month later, our divorce took place. The children, the house, most of our property remained with my ex-husband. Besides, I now had to pay child support. The world has collapsed. I hope my story will help someone not to make such stupid mistakes. At this point, I can only wish the time would bring healing.
Ethan, I am very glad that you are ready for this conversation. Considering that she lives with me and not with you, I figured you might feel insulted or even want revenge. I want to discuss Jessica with you. From the moment I saw her, I was fascinated. She glided around the campus, charming everyone around her, including many professors. With her long, wavy charcoal hair, full lips, and an attention-grabbing figure, she is simply stunning. Have you ever seen her belly dance? It's an exciting sight. Now I understand why you were so eager to have her by your side. I'm not telling you this to make you upset. Ethan, I have to be honest with you. Jessica and I are not just having an affair. We truly love each other. She wants to be with me all the time, but I believe she's hesitant to hurt you by admitting she wants a divorce. I'm here to ask, no, beg you to let her go. You didn't mind when she moved in with me, and when we're together, we can't break up. We share affection and intimacy, and although she never speaks ill of you, she admits that I make her feel things she has never experienced before. I'm not telling you this to upset you. I want to express the depth of the feelings that exist between me and Find. She often tells me that I am constantly on her mind, and that she is looking forward to us being together again. Ethan, I know it's not easy, but I really ask you to do the right thing and let her go, both for her sake and for mine. Clark, I'm sure Jessica has expressed her love for you and that she enjoys your company, especially in intimate moments. But you may not realize that she had similar feelings for many other men, both before and after our marriage. You're just the latest of these connections. Jessica is like a butterfly. She is a unique woman with an extraordinary ability to love. While she is with you, your connection can be overwhelming. Alas, she is not capable of loving only one person all her life. She will express her love for you sincerely and sincerely. You will cherish her affection until she meets another man who takes over her interest for a while. There will definitely be another flower that will attract her. Jessica is with me because I accept her love without trying to limit it. Trying to limit her love only to you is the fastest way to lose her. I would like to advise you to enjoy the moments that you have now. Instead of grieving when she decides to be with someone else, focus on appreciating the memories you created together while she was with you. If you're lucky, she'll remember those good times and decide to come back to share her affection with you again. Trying to master it can lead to you losing it forever. Ethan, although she might have behaved differently in the past, I think she's changed now. Jessica and I even discussed among ourselves the need to have children. She mentioned that she doesn't have any children and she would be happy to give me one if I wanted to. Of course, I want to have children, but I prefer to do it within the framework of marriage. That's one of the reasons I'm asking you to consider giving her a divorce. I will make sure that she does not take anything of value from marrying you. All your possessions will remain with you. I think she's more worried about your feelings to discuss a divorce. Knowing that you will be fine after she leaves can make it easier for her. Ethan, the truth is that she hasn't lived with you for 2 months now, so why not consider a divorce? You mentioned that Jessica says she doesn't have children. This is a subtle hint as to whether she has children. Let me show you these photos. These are Brian, who is 10 years old, and Betty, who is 4 years old. These are our children. Technically, she's not lying when she says she doesn't have children. We came to an agreement that she would hand over the children to me if I took on the role of their permanent, and sometimes only parent. Legally, I have exclusive custody of both children. When she is with them, she plays the role of their mother. The 6-year age difference between the children is explained by the fact that she was involved with other men for a significant part of that time. She also has a daughter with another man, but she does not communicate with this child because the father insists that she return to him as a mother and devoted wife. Since he issued his ultimatum, she has not seen him or their daughter. Clark, if you want to have a child with her and still maintain a loving relationship, you'll have to make the same compromise as me. You're lying, Ethan. What you're saying is completely absurd. With this wild story, you're just trying to push me away. I think you're jealous that such a wonderful, caring woman can choose someone else instead of you. I understand that you want to convince me that she's some kind of scoundrel who can't be faithful to one man, but I'm not buying it. She loves me, and only me. I'll go back to Jessica tonight and tell her to file for divorce from you as soon as possible. What if she refuses? Ethan, she will definitely agree. Jessica said she would do anything to make me happy because she loves me very much. Do you mind giving me a chance to show you what I mean before discussing anything with Jessica? What are you talking about? Invite her to the party. Just tell me the time and place, and I'll join you both unexpectedly so we can talk. But if she expresses a desire to divorce me, I will gladly sign the papers. Does that sound good? In addition, I will prepare the documents so that you can sign them at the restaurant. As Ethan entered the restaurant, he noticed Jessica and Clark. Jessica, it's good to see you, he exclaimed. Ethan, I'm very glad to see you too, she replied. Do you want to join us? Clark and I haven't ordered yet. Please have a seat. Clark, do you mind? I don't want to interrupt your conversation. Let me introduce you. Clark, this is my husband, Ethan. And Ethan, this is my partner, Clark. It's wonderful that both my beloved men are together. By the way, Ethan, do you have any recent photos of the children? Here, take a look at my phone. This is a picture from Betty's last birthday party where she playfully smeared a cake on her brother's face. It was hilarious. I had such a wonderful time. I wish I could have stayed longer, but Clark had tickets to the play. Ethan, you've done an amazing job with the kids. I can't express my gratitude in words. Clark asked, So you're saying that you're the mother of these children? Yes, I gave birth to them, and Ethan is taking custody of them. Aren't they adorable? Absolutely. Then why don't you live with them and Ethan if you're their mother? I live with you, silly. I visit them whenever I can, don't I, Ethan? They cherish every moment they spend with you, just like I do. Please don't say that, it makes me feel emotional. Clark was confused. You're still together, you have 2 children, and yet, Jessica, you're telling me that you love me so much that you want to continue living with me. I'm confused. Clark, I absolutely love you. I can't believe you doubted that for even a moment. I value our time together, talking, hugging, or intimacy. It's so natural for me. If you like being with me as much as you say, why not consider divorcing Ethan and marrying me? We could raise children together with him. But I have a wonderful marriage with Ethan, and I love him deeply. He truly understands me and respects my needs. He loves me without limiting me to traditional ideas about relationships. Aren't you satisfied with what we have? I felt really happy until I heard what I heard today. Jessica, if you really love me, then you should come back to my house today and agree to divorce Ethan in order to marry me. If your love for me is as strong as you claim, you will do what I ask. Clark, I really love you as much as I say I do. You just don't understand that I am capable of deeply loving several men. We had such a wonderful time together. Why can't you just enjoy these moments while we're together? No, I can't share the woman I love with other men. My heart belongs only to you, and I want you to feel the same way. Well, it clearly means that you missed a few lessons in kindergarten. What do you mean? In kindergarten, we learned to share. Ethan, could you take me home today? Clark puts pressure on me to do things that I don't like, and I don't think I want to be with him anymore. What about dinner? Don't you have any food at home? Of course. I always cook a few dishes that you really like. Are you saying that you can make one of your amazing salads with fried shrimp and diced cucumbers? Come on, let's go. I'm hungry. Clark began to stumble. I'll come get my stuff when you're at work. Clark, I'm sorry if you and I didn't work out. I really enjoyed being with you, but I can't be obsessed with one man. When parting, Ethan said, I'm sorry, friend, but I warned you about this. Look, children, who came to visit? Mommy, Mommy! The children ran up and hugged her. I've missed you so much, my dears. Mommy, we missed you too. How long will you stay this time? Before she could answer, Ethan answered for her. We will not dwell on this. Better let's focus on how to make her happy while she's here. Ethan knew that Jet was ahead of his cheating wife. He was tired of constantly seeing her with other men. Most of all, he worried about the children, how their mother's riotous life would affect them. After the children had gone to bed for the night, Jessica turned to Ethan with a request for a conversation. You are such an amazing person. Most husbands would not allow their wives to explore love with other men. I'm starting to realize how unique our love is. Thank you, Ethan. I truly love you. Have you ever felt tempted to leave me at home, force me to be faithful, and just be intimate with you? I've already forgotten what happiness is, Jessica. I don't dream about it anymore. Jessica went to bed in the guest room, and in the morning, having not returned with the children and Ethan, she rushed off in search of a new love, but she did not go far. Suddenly, a patrol car of law enforcement agencies caught up with her and began to search her car. Soon, Jessica left in handcuffs to the police station, and a large number of prohibited substances was found in her car. Jessica was shocked by such a finding by the police, because she had never used illegal substances. 2 weeks later, the trial took place, and Jessica was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Ethan felt free from the cheating wife, Now he won't have to endure her antics. Now he could build his own happiness with another woman.